It occurs to me that the way to get the voice loud and clear is for you to see someone whom the Prime Minister would send over. I would imagine it would be Golda, whom you know, who I think can bring you up to the minute on every phase of their thinking.
We reviewed that a couple of days before, and I would think that would be about the worst thing could happen. I think we would excite the whole world. It'd be worse than the German-Israel fight they're having now. I can't imagine her getting in to see the president and having a meeting here with a junior official. Somebody less than the Prime Minister without it circularizing. Now, I had asked Harriman last week, who is very understanding on these things, and Comer, who I don't know anybody that's he's not emotional as some of our folks are on him, but he's very able and very kindly disposed to him. I think it shapes up very simply. With every person I have talked to, and I've gone over it with the 4 top State Department people, the Secretary, the Undersecretary, and the Assistant Secretary, and our ambassadors in the area, including Harriman. I've talked to all the defense people, which is McNamara and Vance and Wheeler. I've talked to some of my congressional people, the foreign relations folks. We can go one of 2 ways, and I'm willing to go either way. If the Israel friends in this country want to substitute their judgment about the consequences of Soviet planes, and don't think it makes much difference, kind of like Mike argued in the meetings up here, I'm prepared to tell my advisors that is the course, and I'd be perfectly willing. I don't look with much approval on becoming a munitions maker.
Yeah.
I think you just get yourself in a hell of a shape. I think I think Ben Gurion attacking Eshkol on this German tank deal is just an awful thing for everybody. And the Germans have got out a big statement denouncing us this morning and saying that we acted in bad faith. And we did unquestionably ask this poor man to send those tanks, and we kind of forced him to do it. And now he did it, and his government's going to fall because of a fight they got in among themselves over there, according to our intelligence. Now, I don't want to get in that. I'm friendly to these people, and I want to help them. But as our people see it, if they really sincerely, genuinely feel that we oughtn't to sell these planes to Jordan, and we oughtn't to sell these tanks, we're giving them as little as we can get by with. Nasser's got their fleet to the fire. Well, we won't do it. I'll just say that, and I'm prepared to do it, and I'm telling Harriman to tell the Prime Minister that, because I think it's something's got to be settled with him and
the Prime Minister of Israel.
Yeah. And he's going to say, now, you all decide this. We have indications from our Jewish population in the United States that they think that's the course we ought to follow. Now, our judgment is we oughtn't to do it. Our judgment is we oughtn't to let this little king go down the river. He's got 1.5 million people, and he only controls 1/3 of them, 2/3 against him, but he is the only voice that will stand up there. And if you want to turn him over and have a complete Soviet bloc, well, we'll just have to, and we'll get out of the arms business. And we think we'll have to get out of supplying Jordan with money, and we think when we do that, it'll cause pressure to really be on, when that story comes out, it'll be on the the whole 100 million that goes to Jordan and Israel too. But we'll fight that when we come to it. We'll deprive Jordan of their aid. We'll tell them, no more aid, no more munitions, no more nothing. We're not going to get into manufacturing munitions and so on and so forth. If that's what they think, we think it would be better to give them as little as possible and control it. And all of our defense people think it would be. But I'm not prepared to take on the New York Times and Mike Feldman and everybody else. And I'm going to let them make the decision. And but it's got to be in or out. If we go in, of course, we've got to be of some help to Israel. If we get out, then we just got to say, well, we're not taking part. We're not going to supply arms to one side or the other. We're just not going to be in here to sell a lot of munitions. Only reason I'm helping Jordan is on account of Israel. Now, if Israel considers them their enemy and not of help, then we just wasted $600 million.
Mr. President, do I understand that April is going?
Yeah.
That's in lieu of her coming here, right?
Well, I never had considered that. I never had felt that was desirable. I think that couldn't do anything but heat it up. I can't imagine her getting off with a suitcase without somebody saying why. And then I don't want to get another Arab, Ben-Gurion, Eshkol, Earhart election in this thing if I can avoid it. My judgment is, and it's Rusk's judgment, and I don't believe it's an emotional judgment, but I believe it's a friendly judgment, that this little king has some value to us, and that we ought to keep him as far away from the Soviet and Nasser as we can. The Israelis, though, don't think so. Well, if they don't, we'll just pull out. We won't sell him a damn thing. But we want it to be clear it's their decision. And we want it to be clear that we're doing it so we can satisfy the Jews and not irritate them. And just say, now, Mr. Prime Minister, we want to accommodate you. Which route do you want? Do you want us out of here or do you want us in? And we're going to let you write the decision, but we want your name signed in it, and we want your people signed in it, and we don't want it laid on to a man from Johnson City. And I want to work with them and want to help them, but I don't see the thing as they see it. And they're emotional. They see it right there on their border. They know their problems, and I think maybe our people are not as may not be as wise. I'm willing to just follow. I like Eshkol. I got along with him fine. I got along with Ben-Gurion fine. I spent a lot of time with him, and back when they were in real problems and they were getting ready to sanctions, I just came down here and said, hell no, that can't be, and I stopped it. But they fight among themselves over there, and I'm not going to get in the middle of these clashes and have one of them leak it on me that I want to join up with the Arabs.
Well, I gather that for proper diplomatic reasons, you think that Golda's visit here would be...
I just think it would. I think it would get to inflame the whole world. I think the Germans would wonder if she's coming to mess in that thing. I think the Arabs would say, "Good God, what's Johnson doing in here?" I think the Jews would all start sending telegrams. We think all of our people think that the place for this decision is Prime Minister of Israel. And he's talking to us, and he's making it clear what his position is, but the ambassador's kind of taking a different position. And we gather from what Harman says to you, and what we hear from other reports, that he feels that it's better to go the other way. Well, now, just be perfectly blunt about it. I don't want to persuade him. I just don't want to be in a position of trying to force him to do something. So I'm going to just say to Eshkol, now here's what we get. We get this reaction over there, and we get this reaction from you, and Averill will tell you what we'll do. If you want us to limit our thing and control them, and try to finish out your thing and supply you, we'll furnish both of you. If you don't want that, we'll furnish nobody. Now, whatever you think you'd rather do. And you just make a decision, and then you get a hold of Abe Feinberg, who's the man I trust most, and tell him. And then I want some editorials asking me to do it. I don't want to be out there on a limb that I got to walk back on.
You mean asking you not to do it?
Yeah, asking me to either supply them both or not to supply them. Now, I cannot imagine any Jew in America getting mad at me for saying, Mr. Prime Minister, you write the ticket. Can you?